And what's going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for another live review of SmackDown Live. We take place and go back. Wow, what happened there? We take a look back at what happened on the October 24th, 2017 edition of SmackDown Live. And overall, got kind of a little bit of like a standard above average show tonight. Nothing really terrible I can complain about. We had some interesting stuff. Nothing really outstanding. But it was a decent show to sit through. I won't lie. I enjoyed this show somewhat. It wasn't, terrible. Not too meh, but it wasn't outstanding either. We had some good stuff. Some stuff that was like, whatever. But we'll get right into it. And we have a few things definitely to discuss. So we're going to start off by talking about how SmackDown opened up. Of course, they have been, guarded up all night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and last night's Raw was in Green Bay, and guarding the security guard up, seeing if Raw was going to attempt to fight back after SmackDown's surprise attack last night. Shane McMahon came out to start SmackDown. This was the first time he's appeared since his match at Hell in a Cell against Kevin Owens, and he comes out and he just addresses his issues from last night's Raw, and he said, when Kurt Angle called me saying he needed some help, asked if AJ Styles could fill in for Bray Wyatt, he's like, sure. He says, then they asked if he can stay one extra night, and I took that as an opportunity, as he said, to scout out Raw. And Kurt Angle, which, what makes sense to me, Kurt Angle did kind of say last night that SmackDown didn't really have the talent compared to what Raw had. So he took action, and Shane McMahon said, growing up with the family I've grown up in, he's always been told, when, you're up for a fight, to strike first. And that's exactly what he did to SmackDown Live. And he said, will Raw retaliate? Wouldn't surprise me. So, we're going to be prepared either way, if it happens or not. And after this, out comes Sami Zayn. Still his usual music. Here's the thing. I like how Sami's energy comes out there with that, cocky, yeah, this is awesome. I'm awesome. I'm just letting things go and just doing whatever I need to do to win instead of just pleasing everyone. The thing. I do agree with maybe just change the music up just a little bit, just to make it sound a little bit more for someone we're not supposed to be rooting for, even though we do feel bad for Sami Zayn because he's been put in this position based off of truth, how he was being underutilized, and now he's actually being in the main event several times on SmackDown Live as of late. So he comes out and he pretty much says, Shane, I don't get a hello or whatnot. It's the first time they've been face to face since Sami held KO at SmackDown. And he's saying there is hard feelings for what happened and such. And then despite Sami saying one-on-one I could take you down, he says, but I had a talk with Kevin Owens, who I wasn't sure was going to be appearing on on SmackDown tonight, because he said to have been sent home on the recent tour to South Africa. But it was revealed that it was for personal issues. So KO's all right. We did see him tonight backstage, but we had Sami come out and say that we had to talk, and we volunteered to represent SmackDown at Survivor Series. No, we're not going to volunteer. Not you want us. You need us to be on SmackDown's team for Survivor Series. And Shane says, I don't want you and I don't need you. But since this is the land of opportunity, I'll give you a shot tonight. All you have to do is beat your opponent. And Sam's like, who's the opponent? He says, the Viper, Randy Orton. So Randy Orton was pretty much going to be getting his revenge on Sami after last week. Sami won after hitting Orton with a low blow. So steps up for a main event, which I'm like, all right, shouldn't be too bad of a match, hopefully. Again, I question Randy Orton's well, lately he's been doing better, but for a while Randy Orton wasn't really putting on the best matches. But again, let's see what goes down. We then had Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, the #1 contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, taking on the New Day with the Usos on commentary. And the match wasn't too bad. decent match between these two teams. Gable and Benjamin did get the victory after I think Gable pushed Xavier, and then Benjamin hit him with like a kick to the back, and that's how they won the match. It was a weird finish, but I just want to discuss something though here. Is it just me, or does it look like they're doing a little bit of a double turn here? Because the Usos last week offered a truce, an truce, admitting that them and New Day are the two best teams in on SmackDown, the only two legit teams. And then well, that's 2 weeks ago. Last week, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, they said they're eventually going to become SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They said, but for now, respect, and they pull their hands back. And that's the way they won tonight. Are they leaning towards having Gable and Benjamin being heels, and the Usos turning face? I don't know. It just kind of seems a little bit random to me. I would rather keep the Usos as heels and Gable and Benjamin as the faces. But I guess personally, I think although the Usos are probably really over right now with this new gimmick and new character that they've developed in them over the past year, I feel like it hasn't run its course. Like you can keep them as heels and keep Benjamin and Gable as the baby faces. I feel it's just a little weird. I think I know the Hype Brothers look like they might turn heel, but now it looks like that they may not be turning heel. Maybe they might split them up. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But now it looks like Gable and Benjamin, they could be the ones taking offense to the Usos saying that there's no competition left in the SmackDown Tag Team division. But we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks. But I think it's possible we could be seeing a double turn heel, double turn here. And then we had 6 women in the back. Daniel Bryan talking with them, saying about there's got to be a team captain for the women's SmackDown team, since Natalia's the champion is going to be taking on Alexa Bliss for now, unless I'm predicting Charlotte's going to win the title off of Natalya before Survivor Series, and there'll be Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Better matchup, I feel, than Alexa Bliss and Natalya, to eliminate some of that heel on heel competition here, if you know what I mean. But so then Charlotte volunteers to be the captain, and then everybody's fighting over it. Well, actually, first, Lana's like, "There's 6 of us here. Which 5 of us gonna be?" And then Brian's like, "Oh, everybody but you, Lana," which is pretty sure, Lana last week on SmackDown did, I feel, have one of her better wrestling appearances. She looked better in the ring, but still not ready yet. I was a little disappointed here they already scheduled the 5, but I have a possible plan that is gonna repeat what happened last year, but I think it would still be likable to happen again this year if done right. But Daniel Bryan knows to set up a fatal 5-way match though for later on tonight to determine who's going to be the captain. How many more times are we going to see these fatal 5-ways between these women's wrestlers? That's all we get. No women's title feuds. It's just always fatal 5-ways crap and all this stuff. So I'm like, whatever, we'll see what we get tonight. And then we had, for the second in a row, we had the Fashion Files appear again. And now it seems that the Ascension are with them, and they could possibly be their buddies after they saw that horrible makeup on. And they were just once, just the dominating legendary team down in NXT, and now they're just complete jobbers who have this really awful smeared makeup all over their face. But the segment was called the Fashion Dogs. The Ascension just pretty much told. Well, first off, they had James Ellsworth, who, in this segment before with the women, Carmelo shown his leash, saying how he got loose. But apparently, they kidnapped James Ellsworth because they thought he had the evidence to the briefcase from last week, the missing briefcase, and they suspected it being Carmella's Money in the Bank briefcase. Carmella came, freed Ellsworth. They checked the briefcase, and they found a piece of dirty underwear in the briefcase. So I'm like, whatever. And they thought they solved the case with the Ascension. We're like, no, you haven't yet. You still haven't, solved 2B and whatnot either. And of course, they keep saying it's going to be the Bludgeon Brothers, which at this point, it probably is the Bludgeon Brothers. just get this over with. Now they're making them look like stupid idiots. I mean, it was entertaining. Tyler Breeze saying a thing about how he didn't realize how there must be a silent B in Bludgeon Brothers or whatnot. Oh, speaking of people saying things silent, how about the Usos tonight saying Shelton Benjamin's name, going Shelton Benjamin? I just found that kind of entertaining, just the way they said it. But next week we're supposed to be getting Stranger Things, so we'll see if this finally just wraps up this whole thing, and just Bludgeon Brothers, who did have another segment tonight, like advertising that they're coming, just whatever it is at this point, just debut them. And then we had Sin Cara taking on Baron Corbin in a rematch from last week. Sin Cara won disqualification after Corbin refused to stop beating him down. I'm not a big fan of like Corbin, just losing to Sin Cara twice now, like not clean finishes, either count out or now disqualification. But he did look like dominating here, just coming out there and just dominating Sin Cara. It's probably going to get Sin Cara a U.S. title shot. So hopefully Corbin just wins that. This is completely pointless. I don't know why they're doing this. Probably just getting nothing else to do. We did have a segment backstage, though, with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. Well, this is one of two we had. And Daniel was honest and said he didn't like the actions that Shane took last week. And then, Shane said, well, I'm supposed to take initiative and lead this team, blah, 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 whatever he said. He said, that's under my job description and whatnot. So they kind of teased a little bit of tension between Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. So it was kind of interesting, like wondering what they're going to go from there. So that was interesting. I want to see what happens there. I don't know if that's going to lead to them, like Shane turning heel or something, or if it's going to be leading to Daniel Bryan leading. Has been rumors that he may not be back in WWE after his contract expires in 2018. We'll see what happens. Something could be up there, or it could set up the edge, for Shane and Daniel Bryan taking on like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, since Shane needs to get his revenge on them after what happened, and they even bullied Daniel Bryan as well, since Sami and KO are like trying to take over SmackDown Live itself. Speaking of which, also we did get a backstage segment with Kevin Owens appearing, and we were surprised because again the whole thing of him going home from the tour early. I think Triple H actually was rumored to have replaced him and did his matches on the tour. He said that, he says, Sammy, you win tonight against Orton. He says, next week I got a qualifying match against Shinsuke Nakamura. And once we're both in there, it won't be Team SmackDown. It'll be Team Sammy and Kevin. So next week we're getting a match between KO and Shinsuke Nakamura. The winner will be added to the Survivor Series team for SmackDown's brand. And then we had the Singh Brothers come out and tried to imitate Paul Heyman. He's saying, we are the Singh Brothers, and we're the advocates of the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE champion, Jinder Mahal. As always, I polish the middle fingers. Give Jinder my greeting whenever Jinder comes out, because I can't stand him. Comes out and pretty much says how, I'm going to be Brock Lesnar's worst nightmare, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, right. AJ comes out. He had a match against Sunil Singh. They banned Jinder from ringside. And of course, AJ won like 20 seconds by getting Singh to tap out to the calf crusher. And after the match, Daniel Bryan goes back. He goes back to Daniel Bryan, and he's like, AJ Styles just humiliated me and my man, blah, blah, blah. He gonna get the job done. So next week, I want to get revenge on him again. And now it's going to be Samir Singh next week taking on AJ Styles. So Styles is going to squash them, and then he's going to get the Jinder. I mean, it would be awesome to see AJ win the title and he face Brock instead at Survivor Series, but I have this bad feeling we're going to have to see some screwy finish. Or somehow, knowing WWE, they're going to have Jinder win clean against AJ Styles. It's going to make AJ look like a joke now, since he did that to Shinsuke and Randy. Oh, boy. So we'll see what happens the upcoming weeks as far as that goes, but didn't really care about this at all. We then had the Fatal 5-Way match to determine who will be the captain for the Women's SmackDown team. And I was thinking maybe it would be Carmella. I mean, I thought maybe they might go with Charlotte, but I didn't want to see Charlotte become captain because I want to see her defeat Natalya to become the SmackDown Women's Champion so that she can face Alexa Bliss at Survivor Series instead of having it be just a weird heel on heel match. So, like, why would we root for either one of them? Either way, you know, a win for Alexa Bliss would be awesome. But so the match went on. I got worried also that Tamina might win when Lana interfered and targeted Charlotte. Before the match, also, Natalya came out and was introduced as like the greatest heart ever and the true queen of the women's division. Blah, blah, blah. She walks out, whatever. The match goes on again. Tamina, I was going to win. I'm like, oh gosh, we're going to have, you know, Alicia Fox and Tamina be their team captains. We already have Alicia Fox on Raw. That's going to be a joke. And then Tamina. But to a surprise, the winner was Becky Lynch, which I'm like, okay, I'm for it. I felt Becky got a little ripped off last year. Nikki Bella was put in as the team captain, but she was taken out by the coach, Natalya. It led to that singles feud between Nikki and Natalya, which was awesome. So I'm glad Becky is getting this opportunity to be captain. But what I would like to see, though, what would be interesting, because I really thought, oh, maybe they'll have some type of build-up for the women's match, and it would lead to Paige's return. But now, since Becky is the the captain, what if you had kind of repeat what happened last year? I mean, I know people don't like repetition, but it would still work. What if you had Paige like be a mystery attacker on Becky Lynch, and she replaces Becky in the women's SmackDown 5-on-5 elimination match, having her return? The rumors that Paige is supposed to be going to SmackDown, so that's why I'd say go with if that's the way you want to like bring her back as a surprise return, and have a non-title feud between Becky and Paige. Gives Becky something to do, just give people in the women's division something to do as well, and like I have Paige, you know, go a little further as a heel as well, because I feel like, you know, like I love Paige as a face as well, but I feel like that, you know, she hasn't ran the full mileage as a heel yet in her career, so why not bring her back as a heel and, you know, see what happens? That's why I want to see happen. Then we had a backstage segment where Dolph Ziggler was being interviewed by Renee Young. And now it seems Dolph Ziggler's not imitating entrances anymore. Now, it's like people love catchphrases, so he starts imitating catchphrases, and then Bobby Roode pretty much just comes in and says, you know, you beat me last week. He said, but I beat you also, so we need to decide who the better man is. And then Dolph says something about beating Bobby twice, and Bobby's like, twice? You just make you an idea. What about next week, you and I go one-on-one again in a 2-out-of-3 falls match? And pretty much they accepted, so we're getting a third match. It's a 2-out-of-3 falls match between Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. The winner, though, will be added to the Men's Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination match, as well as we're also getting KO and Shinsuke Nakamura as well, probably in our main event next week. So those matches should be good. And then finally, we had the main event. It was Randy Orton taking on Sami Zayn, another qualifying match. The winner of this match was going to be added into the first person onto Team SmackDown. And for the most part, it was a decent match. I mean, I felt that maybe for a good feud for Randy Orton going into Clash of Champions in December, maybe him and Sami could have a feud or whatnot. They didn't have too bad of a match. There was a spot where Sami took a nasty bump, though, when Randy slammed through a table. You know, Sami did try to push his buttons 2 times, like slap him, saying, "Come on, Viper." And then, you know, Randy Orton has a history of, you know, having some anger issues. It seems to emphasize on him as well. And he, you know, got some offense in on Sami, hitting him a nasty bump on a table. It's like Sami came down on his head. Was nice as well. And Sami does that DDT when he like jumps through the ropes and like, does like a spinning DDT. I would have loved this. I thought this would have been cool if Randy Orton would try to counter him jumping through the ropes into an RKO. That's kind of a little risky and a little edgy there, but I think that would be an interesting attempt, I'd say. But yeah, the match was good. It looked like Sami was about to win, but then Orton gets out of the way. And then KO comes out trying to distract Randy Orton. And while the ref wasn't looking, Sami, you know, being a little hesitant at first, which I think is all right for him as a heel, since, you know, he despite him being like a purebred baby face, he still is great as a heel on the mic, but as a wrestler, he hasn't quite done like the best heel tactics as a wrestler yet. But when the ref was looking, though not Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens gave Sami Zayn a low blow. So their plan backfired, and he would then hit Sami with the RKO. And to surprise, I thought Sami was going to win this match, but it ended up being Randy Orton. So Randy Orton, which there really wasn't anything else for him to do for Survivor Series, is the first member of the men's 5-on-5 match for Team SmackDown. What's going to be for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? Not sure. It could be something with Shane McMahon and someone else against him, but we'll see. Afterwards, we had like a backstage segment. Again, Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon talk about how good the show was, and I forgot Daniel Bryan said something else, and he says, "Now that was in my job description." So again, like looks like they're teasing something, some type of tension or some story that's gonna be going on here between Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan here. I don't know what's gonna lead to, but it has me interested. So we'll see what happens down the line. I know the card for Survivor Series still doesn't look really worthy because there's really no stakes involved. This is just bragging rights for which brand is better, pretty much. But overall, I gotta say, SmackDown wasn't too mad tonight. It was a little above average, wasn't awesome. I mean, the stuff we got tonight was just standard matches, I'd say, for a show. Nothing too spectacular that I'll go back and remember. For the polls here, let me see here. Let's log on to Twitter real quick. What do we have here for my grades? Wow, 19 votes for what grade would you give SmackDown Live tonight? 16% said A, 37% said B, 32% said C, and 15% said D. 19 votes. Wow, thanks for the votes. And wow, for which show did you enjoy more this week, Raw or SmackDown Live? 11 votes. All of them said Raw. Huh. All right. I mean, personally, I thought SmackDown had a little bit of a better show tonight. I mean, Raw was kind of mad. It had like the awesome match with the 6-man tag match with AJ Styles, The Shield, and taking on Miz in the bar, and then of course the ambush by SmackDown. That's right. We also Raw did not strike tonight. Also, Raw did not try to get its revenge. I'm assuming we will get them getting their revenge sometime in the next few weeks. We'll see what happens, though. I mean, maybe at least the go-home show of SmackDown and whatnot. We'll see what happens. I just don't overdo it, I'd say, which is okay. We didn't do it tonight. But for my grade, again, I preferred SmackDown a little bit over Raw because, despite those two matches, Raw was kind of flat last night. A lot of stuff that felt pointless and wasn't really intriguing. At least stuff on SmackDown tonight was acceptable effort, but nothing outstanding. That's why I want to give SmackDown Live a C+ tonight. A really strong C+. What grade would you give SmackDown Live for this week? Or, what show did you enjoy more, Raw or SmackDown this week? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, as always. And please make sure to click that like and subscribe button for more content to come to this channel. I did finish watching WrestleMania 10 today, so I will try to get that review out either overnight or sometime tomorrow morning. Hopefully we'll also be up here live for NXT tomorrow night as well, if not early Thursday morning. And also, since I didn't announce it on Raw, next week, I will not be reviewing Raw live Monday night. I will be reviewing Raw sometime later on Tuesday. This next week's gonna be my first week off. Well, next weekend's gonna be the first weekend I don't have a gig in 7 weeks, so I'm taking a short little vacation at the beginning of next week. I'll be on Sunday. I'll be back later on Tuesday, but I will either review Raw before SmackDown, or I will have 2 separate live reviews of Raw and SmackDown after next Tuesday night's edition of SmackDown Live. I'll also get my final Survivor Series predicted card up as well sometime in the next week or so as well. And again, stay tuned for oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, stay tuned for any of the WrestleMania reviews that come out. Again, WrestleMania 10 should be up sometime tomorrow. But that is it, guys. With that, I am checking out. I will see you all later. Have a good night.